Hi children, my name is Auntie Marianah. Today's story is about the Sailing Snailor, a rhyming mermaid tale written and illustrated by Kimberley Michelle Edge, dedicated to Michelle's niece, Maddie Ray Edge, on her 2nd birthday. Concerning her rhyming story today, Michelle asks, why is rhyming important? Rhyming teaches us how language works. It helps us to notice and work with sounds within words. Rhymes help us experience the rhythm of language. As we recite nursery rhymes, we learn to speak with animated voices, and it helps us to read with expression too. When we are familiar with a nursery rhyme or a rhyming book, we learn to anticipate the rhyming word. This prepares us to make predictions when we read, also an important reading skill. And then about snails. Did you know that snails are mostly known for their speed, or rather their lack of speed? We get it, they're not the fastest animal on earth. But there are plenty of other things about snails to amaze. For instance, one species of snail can grow up to 1.5 feet long. Wow! That's about 0.5 meters. And they're no different from slugs. The only difference between snails and slugs is that the snail has a shell. Although some slugs only appear to be without shells, some slug families have internal shell plates hidden within their bodies. Smaller shells can help the creatures to be more mobile, an evolutionary advantage when it comes to chasing down prey. And they are related to shellfish. Slugs and snails are mollusks, and in the same category as oysters, clams, and mussels. Gastropods are the largest group of mollusks. They are more than 80% of living mollusk species. They are also one of the most diverse groups of animals in terms of form, habitat, and behaviors. Snails live everywhere on Earth. There may be as many as 150,000 species, and they live in almost all habitats, from deep ocean trenches to deserts. Perhaps the myth of Cupid's arrow might come from these snails shooting love darts at the object of their affections. And did you know that a snail can take down a starfish? The giant triton, Charonia tritonus, can grow up to 1.5 feet long. Wow, that is 0.5 meters as well. And the sea snail was considered a symbol of rebirth and joy for Mesoamericans, who believed the world shape of its shell represented the circle of life. The snail shells can be turned into musical instruments. Conches are very large sea snails. People have used shell trumpets as musical instruments for millennia. For instance, the sea god Triton calmed the waves with a conch shell trumpet. Some snails have hairy shells, especially the young ones. And the world's smallest land snail could fit through the eye of a needle. Augustopila dominicae may be the smallest land snail ever found. If you lined 10 of them up in a row, they could all march through the eye of a needle together. And now to our rhyming story. The Sailing Snailor. There once was a snailer that sailed the 7 seas. He was the captain of his ship and he loved the ocean breeze. He had a crack in his shell and a starfish on his side. He was the snailiest bug around and a handsome little guy. His star's name was Samuel, the snailer's first right hand. He craved ocean adventures and lived among the sand. The snailer welcomed every storm and triumphed every wave. He was the toughest snail around, strong, courageous, and brave. He loved the rocky waters, they filled his heart with pride. But he had one true love, and she lived below the tide. She was a beautiful Princess Snail that roamed the ocean blue. She loved the Sailing Snailor that she gave her whole heart to. She lived in a place of treasures made of coral and rock. She wore pearls in her crown and seashells on her top. The snailer searched for the treasure as he was on his way, and then he heard a scream just beyond the bay. A gentle giant, an octopus, grabbed his love, living deep below. I must jump in and save her, yo ho ho ho! Samuel, the starfish, hung on tight as the snailer dove down deep. The swim was long and tiring since he didn't have 2 feet. Release my love, you giant monster! She's caused no harm to you. I'll protect the princess with my life. To her my heart reigns true. What good is it to capture her? She's the princess of the sea. Let her go just this once and you can just take me. Starfish Sam said, Oh, Captain Snailor, sir, I see the problem. There's a sea urchin here on his rear that he picked up from the bottom. I know that has to hurt because urchins are quite so spiny. I'll go down there to get it, sir, and pull it off his hiney. Keep the princess calm and the angry giant still. Your love seems so wild to me. You must just love the thrill. Sam removed the urchin and the giant let out a roar. Sorry about that sting, big guy. You may be a bit sore. The gentle giant released his love and she swam to the snailer's side. Oh, thank goodness you came for me. Thank goodness I'm alive. The giant monster swam away and all was safe and warm. He's had a rough, tough sea life day. He meant no one such harm. I was scared and helpless and so alone. I'm glad you heard my screams. You're such a brave, courageous snail, the snailer of my dreams. When they surfaced to the top, the crew helped them to climb. The sun was setting slowly. They were just in time. They sailed into the horizon with 2 hearts full of laughter. The snailer and his princess lived happily ever after. And now, it's goodbye from me, Auntie Marianah. Bye-bye.
This story is read by Marianah Lourens with permission from the rhyming book The Sailing Snailor, written and illustrated by Kimberley Michelle Edge. The book is published by Michelle Edge Books and is available on Amazon.com or on her website kmichellebooks.com.